Some indie horror movies go for the slow burn, and others go for the Terrifier route. But today's movie, well, it goes a different path. And when I say that, I mean it holds nothing back. As I do, I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. I went into No Tears in Hell expecting another low-budget indie horror flick, but what I got was a brutal, no-mercy descent into something way more intense than I was ready for. Let's talk about how this movie goes way harder than expected. What's up, I'm Sippin' Ice, and I was asked to take a look at the new film No Tears in Hell, and I'm really glad I did. Indie horror like this doesn't always get a spotlight, but this one goes off. But before we dive into the meat and potatoes, a few things. Firstly, yes, I was asked, but my opinions will always be mine, and I only mention this as I want you to know I'm always going to be transparent. Also, the comment shout out today goes to Byron Weaver 33. Thank you for your comment. Lastly, there will be a small spoiler warning for some plot points in the film. I won't really go into too much depth as I want you to be able to go in blind and form your own opinion. Now with all that out of the way, let's discuss the plot of No Tears in Hell. Coming as a major shock to me upon my first watch, the film is actually based on a true story. Now prepare yourself as I terribly pronounce this name, but the movie is based on Alexander Spetsnaz, the Siberian Ripper. Alexander, along with his mother's help, murdered numerous people in Russia in the 90s. I won't really go much further than that as the details are very grim, and since I'm not the most knowledgeable person on the matter, I wouldn't want to do any of the victims or their families any injustice by getting a fact wrong. While their heinous actions took place in Russia, this film actually changes that to the cold state of Alaska. But with that being said, those events are what this movie is based on. And like I mentioned earlier, it holds no punches. Let me explain exactly what I mean. So what stood out for me? Well, surprisingly, the practical effects. Now, I'm not saying I just assumed they were going to be bad, but I wasn't prepared for one, how much it was going to be used, and two, how well it looked when applied. As most of you know by now, I'm a huge fan of when people shoot for practical over digital. I believe there's a real art in it. I do want to mention though that there were some heavy scenes throughout that also involved some intense gore, so just be aware of that beforehand, because again, it holds no punches. I say all of this in order to say that the tone for this film is dark, it's bleak, and it's scary. Alexander spends the movie creating a false sense of trust and safety for his many victims, with his bloodlust quickly increasing. Yes, I have said it before, and I will say it again, the film holds no punches. But now, let me actually talk about that. Not only does Alexander's bloodlust increase throughout the runtime, but so too does the violence and intensity. The violence and intensity in the movie starts rather tame actually. Well, as tame as you can really get, I guess. Only to become full-on intense with shocking details. Like, I won't lie, during my first watch of the film, I was sitting there thinking, oh, okay, this is actually pretty tame in terms of gore. And then I was shown to be very, very wrong. I obviously can't describe in great detail or this video would get smited to the dirt, and it'll spoil some of the movie. Just know, if you're a fan of the Terrifier movie's direction in this regard, then you'll enjoy it here as well. Speaking of Terrifier, that franchise began as an indie film with a smaller budget, and that same sentiment applies for No Tears in Hell. While the movie does have a smaller budget and was created by an independent team, they still were able to make some good, intense horror. Now don't get me wrong, the movie has that feel to it, but that's because it's not some $300 million project created by some studio that doesn't even listen to its own fans. And I mean, I don't know about you, I love that feeling of watching and supporting an indie team. They clearly didn't have a massive budget, but they used every dollar smartly, especially when it came to sound, location, and pacing. Speaking on sound, another thing that stood out for me was the soundtrack. It was nice as it aided the scenes and sometimes created some emotion, and other times it was used as a plot device. The plot device being some headphones that Alexander uses throughout the film. We've talked about the ingredients, now let's talk a little bit about the chef. No Tears in Hell is written and directed by Michael Casey. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. He's worked on other projects as well, such as Wrath and Hangman. They bring over a love of true crime in order to create this one. While their crew wasn't the size of a multi-million-dollar company, they were able to create a dark and intense atmosphere. Sometimes less is more, and that applies here. The titular characters of Alexander and his mother are portrayed by Luke Baines and Gwen Van Damme, respectively. Yes, you might actually know those names as well. Baines is known for their roles in Shadowhunters and A Dark Place. But for me, I'll always remember him as the dude in the 2017 film Truth or Dare. No, not that 2018 one. Stop looking at that one, dude. No one talks about the 2017 one. As for Van Damme, she was known for her role in Star Trek Generations. And wait, oh my god, the original Halloween? She was an uncredited role there, but that's such a cool flex, dude. Sadly, however, she passed back in 2024. May she rest in peace. Alongside Baines and Van Damme, No Tears in Hell stars Tatiana Marzanovic, Audrey Neal, Gabriella Westwood, and Eric Fellows. Sorry if I mispronounced any of their names, I tried my best.
What more do you want from me?
But what about actually watching it? If you want to check it out for yourself, then I got some good news for you. It's dropping soon. This upcoming Tuesday, August the 12th, No Tears in Hell is set to terrorize audience on digital VOD platforms. This includes Amazon Prime Video, Apple/iTunes, Google Play, Fandango Now, YouTube Movies, Dish Network and Dish Digital, and local cable and satellite providers. So get excited, as you will soon get to experience the dark and intense world that is No Tears in Hell. Depending on where you're watching this video, the film may or may not be out yet. If it's not, be sure to watch the trailer after this video. Forewarning, you might be super hyped, so make sure you're sitting down. Now that you're well aware of the film, what are my exact thoughts? First and foremost, this movie is a low-budget indie horror film. It's gritty, it's raw, and for me, that's a part of the charm. I get bored and tired of the same old stuff pushed to us by the major studios that never seem too eager to innovate. But do you know what group loves to innovate? Independent filmmakers. Now, the film won't be for everyone, and that's okay. But for those of you that love a good, intense, dark, and disturbing horror movie, then you'll have a new one to add to your growing watch list. And for those true crime lovers out there, you would also get something out of it as well, considering the true story it is based on. But again, this will be the last time I mention it. It is a movie with a dark tone and some heavy scenes that go along with it. So viewer discretion is advised going into it. But do give it a shot if you're a big horror fan like myself. If you dig indie horror or found this helpful, hit that like button. Drop a comment and let me know if you plan on checking out No Tears in Hell. Subscribe for more horror deep dives because this genre never sleeps. Thank you for your time, stay chill, and I will see you next time.